Or any questions you have about anything that we're doing here? Or
I think I'm good to go, man.
okay, perfect. Let's let it run.
We just fly by the seat of our pants.
We do.
So yeah, if we and if we're like I kind of said on the message too, like feel free to just jump in or anything that you want to talk about, just feel free. So I think we're good to go.
Count it in.
In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 38. On tonight's episode, we got some Amiibo release dates. Triforce Hero reconfirms their dates, and Mighty Number 9 gets delayed. Plus, guest host Cass joins us for a very special interview. Also, very, very special interview with EP Daily and Vic's Basement. Victor Lucas sits down with us to discuss Nintendo gaming, parenting, and gets offered candy from his daughter. Kind of weird. Anyways, cue the music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nintendo Dads podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is August 5th, 2015. Again, my name is Zach Erickson, and joining me tonight, as always, to discuss the Nintendo nonsense of the week is Justin Masson. What's going on tonight, Justin?
Nothing much, buddy. You know, I write I write the intros, but I can always get tongue-tied, which just bothers me.
Speaking of tongue-tied as well, joining us tonight is Jesse Waldak from VGTribune.com. What's going on, Jesse?
I thought you were going to go speaking of nonsense. I was all ready for that one, and then nope, you missed.
A swing and a miss.
I missed that one, and I should have. Joining us as well, fan of the show and podcaster in his own right, Cass Lush. Am I getting that right?
You're getting it right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, no problem. We are happy to have you for the show, and thanks for listening to the show, by the way. It's awesome to have great listeners like yourself out there in the community. You guys are the reason why we do the show, so thanks for joining us tonight.
Definitely. I listen every week. I forget how I even found the show. I listened to IGN's Nintendo podcast, and one day I'm a dad, so I was like, I Googled Nintendo Dad, and I think that's how I found you guys, and I've been listening ever since. So, yeah.
The power of SEO.
Right? Like, yeah. The name works.
The name works, man.
That's the funny thing is so many people, they're like, why didn't you call yourselves Nintendads or something? But we're like, no, like, there's a specific audience out there who wants to hear from dads about Nintendo, and so
that in Nintendads
and
was
Cass,
already
obviously
taken.
You're dad as well. How old is your daughter, I believe?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Her name's Kennedy. She's actually turning 2 next month.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
No, thanks.
Right on, man.
So when are we going to get a guest on that has kids who can play with mine?
When 2/3 of the panel is with kids who are less than 10 years old, you know.
Listen, man, this isn't called Nintendo Grandpas here.
Yeah.
Hey!
Let's head into the news, shall we?
Wait.
Just the
Right
play date
on.
for my older kids is all I'm asking.
Do they still call it a play date if you're like...
No, they don't. I think
it's called hanging out is what that is.
They're going to kill me if they hear me say that.
If your kids...
Which means I'm going to make them hear it.
You know, the funny thing is, like, I feel like if your 16-year-old son or whatever is like wanting to have a play date with somebody, then you're probably going to have like talk about the birds and the bees and like all that sort of stuff too, because yeah,
I'm not looking forward to any of those conversations, but I am looking forward to Amiibo conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
or
today,
Mario conversations.
Just today, yeah, exactly, all of them. You know what? I mean, for some reason, I'm imagining now like a sort of instructional sort of picture book with Mario and Peach. And they love each other very much. I don't know.
Well,
Wait for the Kickstarter, folks.
If you ask MatPat, it's not Mario, it's someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yep.
So today we've had a lot of news just today come out about the Amiibo that are coming out in September. Nintendo has been we had saw last week maybe some rumors about this 3-pack that was going to be available at GameStop. We still don't know if it's an exclusive or not, by the way. I haven't seen anything. But But yeah, basically what we've got is confirmation that on September the 11th, 11th of September.
Correct.
Which is the only way that they've ever given that date ever, or any sort of a date. They've never said the date, number of whatever month. But because it falls on this particular day, September 11th, they're drawing attention to it by saying it differently. But anyways, so we've got a bunch of amiibo coming that day. It's the same day as Super Mario Maker. And we've also got the 30th anniversary Mario Classic Color, Zero Suit Samus, Ganondorf, Olimar, Bowser Jr., and Dr. Mario. Those are coming on the 11th. Then 2 weeks later, we have the Retro 3-pack with Rob Duck Hunt and Mr. Game & Watch. Those 3 amiibo, that is the only way that you're going to get those amiibo, is through that 3-pack.
I was afraid of that.
Which we'll come back to that. As well, what they said was the Mii Fighters, which were originally announced to be included in September and released in September, those are now coming in November. They will also be included only in a 3-pack. And they're going to announce fairly soon the 8-bit Mario Modern Colors amiibo, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Mario. So that's a lot to take in right off the bat, but Cass, how are you feeling about, like, are you a big amiibo collector?
I am.
I don't have.
Well, I'm not a big amiibo collector. I have a pretty good collection. This next wave was the first wave that I wanted, like, every single one of them, and I don't know, the 3-pack thing, to me, that's not really a big deal because I wanted that 3-pack. It's just I hope that I wanted all 3 is what I mean. I just hope that they're easy to come by. I hope that they're not impossible to get. It seems like, though, that they're kind of getting a grip on the amiibo thing, that they might be doing a better job, but we'll see. Was there any news about the 8-bit Mario with the game, like a bundle for America?
I haven't seen anything. I think Europe has had information on a bundle, and so has Japan. We haven't yet. Yeah. And in Canada, I haven't even seen any information about this bundle either. I actually sent a message to EB Games on Twitter today, like, hey, are you guys doing this bundle pre-order? Like, what's the deal? I haven't heard anything in Canada even. So, and the only one that we even know that will be able to be pre-ordered in the States is this 3-pack, which is coming. By the way, we kind of skipped over that, but GameStop in the U.S. is having a pre-order on the 8th. So this Saturday.
My understanding is that the pre-order is you show up there Saturday, you give them $5. You don't need to be a GameStop premium member or whatever it is down there. You just give them the $5. Basically, it's pre-ordered. I think you can only do one per visit.
They're getting their stocking information ahead of time. Correct. Or however many they're going to get, and so it won't be like last time that they did all of their pre-orders, because it was an online in-store pre-order, which meant that they had to have all of that information put through their online system. They're no longer doing that. They're basically just saying they're keeping like a local list, like you're this person, we'll write it on this piece of paper and whatever. Like, I don't know if maybe they have like a local computer thing that they do.
Yeah, but the rewards program, they have a free level and a paid level, and yet I think you still have to have the free level to do the pre-orders, because that's how they keep that track of all that.
Sure.
But you don't have to be the paid level.
Right. The
free level works.
Yeah. Although, like, I know at EB Games, even, Justin, they have, when you're picking up your pre-orders, a lot of times people will still, it maybe not necessarily in placing your pre-orders, but in picking up your pre-orders, the premium or whatever, the platinum level gamer club system score, I don't know, whatever, they'll put you to the front of the line, so at least you don't have to wait as long. But that's not placing your pre-order necessarily.
No.
So,
do we know which amiibo they're allowing for pre-orders on the 8th?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying, is that the only one that we know is confirmed for that you can pre-order is this Retro 3-pack.
Okay.
So like, if you go in there and pre-order this 3-pack, we don't know if you're going to be able to pre-order Dr. Mario and Olimar and whatever. So
is the Retro 3-pack that's coming out on the 11th of September also?
That comes out on the 25th, which is the same day, by the way, as Animal Crossing Happy House Arrest, the amiibo cards. So those are coming out the same day.
I am not getting those amiibo or those cards. I'm not doing it.
Oh, see, you know what? I'm a sucker for those cards. I don't know what it is. Like, there is something about the impulse buy of a pack of cards. And I grew up like my dad was huge into collecting baseball cards. My dad at one point had this huge collection of like signed baseball cards. He had kind of discovered this thing where most places, if you mailed or most like baseball teams, if you mailed them like a self-addressed stamped envelope or whatever, and would just mail them the envelope to like the team or whatever, they would sign the card and send it back to you. And so he had like this huge collection of signed baseball cards at one point. And so like I was, the kid who was at one point, I think I might even still have them. It's like a complete set of the Batman Returns collector cards or whatever that came out at the same time as the movie. Which is like the weirdest thing to own.
I remember those cards. That's sad.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? I had like a whole set of them, like the complete set. So like my dad bought me like a booster box or something like that. Or I guess it wouldn't have been a booster box, but like anyways. So the impulse buy,
I know what you mean.
Nature of a pack of cards is pretty impressive. And in Japan, these cards are coming 3 in a pack, but over here it'll be 6 in a pack. Which I think is actually kind of the perfect like space for it. So you'll probably see them for about $4 a pack or something like that. I think Pokemon cards come with 10 in a pack. So, and the fact that these are all NFC cards, that seems right. Like it seems like they're approaching it with the same sort of range as any other cards. So provided that you can actually get the cards, it'll probably be, pretty successul.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How are you guys feeling about these amiibos so far? Like, we haven't heard that any of these are exclusives anywhere yet. Although,
I think what we have heard about the Retro 3-pack is that they will not be sold separately.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot go to Best Buy and just get a Rob. You can't just go get the Duck Hunt dog, right? And it's interesting because if you think about how they're positioning this, right? They have taken these characters, which, I mean, Rob, the Duck Hunt dog, and Mr. Game & Watch are very much part of what I would call the past of Nintendo, right? And yes, they have recurrences in Smash, but these are almost iconic figures of the 80s that they're putting in this retro pack, which I think is brilliant, right, from a marketing perspective.
And by the way, a third of those gets a cameo in Pixels.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of really good things from that, but I think for the individual, right? Like I don't really. This sounds crazy. I don't really want Mr. Game & Watch, and I'm really not super excited for Rob, but I kind of want the Duck Hunt dog.
See, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I either have to go find somebody who wants 1 or 2 of them.
Well, hey Justin, if you want to go in, like, I know I'm going to be living up in Edmonton now, but if you want to go in and like, the only one, like, I'm kind of interested in Duck Hunt. No, Duck Hunt dog. It's pretty cool. Actually, I kind of want all 3 of them. But
yeah, there you go. See, like. Then you talk yourself into it, and then
that's the thing is that one of them. The thing is like once you get one of them will suck you in, and then the other 2 are like, oh, those are kind of cool. Those will look cool on my shelf. Yeah. And so it's kind of genius, but also with so much of this amiibo stuff, it's insidious in how they approach it almost. I don't know.
I do kind of have to agree. I have to agree with Cass in this. Is that it feels like they're getting better about their stocking for the supplies, but this will be the true test. Like this will be a massive, like, you're rolling out, 6 amiibos, right? That I think are pretty cool ones. I think I know for myself, Dr. Mario is a huge one that I'm looking forward to. My wife has been basically saying, like, she's like, no, you're gonna go stand in line, you're gonna get that. But then when you look at like Super Mario Maker, that one, the 8-bit one, which we know has a huge impact on playing the games, like, that's going to be the prized possession. This will be the true rubber to the road of whether Nintendo has fixed their amiibo situation. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for example, the Mii Fighters are being delayed, is because they probably haven't got the levels where they need to be. And this may actually even be one of the reasons why the Retro Pack is delayed by basically 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but I feel like... looking at this too, I had initially looked at this wave and thought, holy crap, that is so many amiibo. Like, how, like, 6 different SKUs, potentially with 9 different amiibo coming out in September, not including the cards. I was initially like, holy crap, how are they even going to do that? They're going to swamp the shelves, or they're going to, whatever. But now knowing that that the Retro 3-pack is not 3 SKUs, it's 1, right? And so that's just whatever is, and that it's basically going to be a pre-order only sort of deal. Like they sell out pre-orders, and that's all that there's going to be. Especially looking at these characters, they're not going to make a million of them. But yeah, I don't know. So looking at these, I'm hopeful, but I've been burned before, I guess, is kind of my thing. All I know is that out of this particular wave, Dr. Mario looks great. I really want an Olimar. That is the one that I loved Pikmin 3, and that is the one where I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, I've tried to pick out, having a good representation of the main different franchises from Nintendo, and if Olimar is one where I'm like, I really, really want that Olimar more than just about anything else on this picture here. That Nintendo's released.
Cass, are you obviously said you're looking forward to this wave. Are you a kind of stand in line the morning of kind of person, or are you kind of a, because the impression I always get from obviously in the States is that the amiibo craze is a little bit more high paced and tempered than Canada. Maybe it's because we're super polite. I don't know. But are you sitting out in line for it, or what are you doing?
Well, you're right. A lot of people down here will actually spend the night at Toys R Us or wherever to do it. How I do it, man, is I get to Toys R Us about an hour early, and on the last wave, actually the one with Wario and stuff, I got there an hour, not even an hour early. I went on a lunch break a little early, got there maybe 30 minutes before, and I had my pick at any one that I wanted.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know if I got lucky, but yeah. I mean, and then I ordered one. I ordered the Palatino one off Amazon, because that was a pretty painless experience. Yeah. At least in Canada, it was for sure. Yeah, it was very easy. So yeah. So I'm hoping to do that again. So yeah, like I said last week, I have I'm going back to school this fall, and Friday morning is, I've got a class from 9 till noon. So the test on whether or not Nintendo has got their crap together is if I can go into a GameStop or Toys R Us or whatever's closest to the university and walk in and get my choice at Amiibo, at 1 o'clock that day. How is my choice at that point? Right. Which is really sad that we have to say, 3 hours after the store opens, what is my selection going to be? Not, the next day or the next week. We're still at that point where, let's not pretend that Nintendo's got this crap all figured out yet. If we're hopeful that I'll be able to go in later that same day, you know what I mean? So, did any of y'all get Dark Pit from Best Buy? Because I didn't. I was actually feeling pretty sick that day, so I didn't get up to go get it. Well, actually, I went out that day, and in Canada, it was not a Best Buy exclusive. So I kind of woke up that morning and was like, all right, I'm going to hit all the main stores. I've got something at 9:30. I've got Toys R Us, or EB Games, which is like GameStop up here. They opened at 10, but I had something going on at 9:30. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stop by Walmart because I know Walmart might have it. And then I'm going to go over to Toys R Us and see if Toys R Us has them. And so I went to Walmart, no luck at Walmart, which not really a big surprise. Whatever. So then I headed over to Toys R Us, and I got there at probably 8:30, and they open at 9 on Fridays. And I got there, and there were probably 12 people in line or something. I'm like, oh, right on, 12 people. I'm probably going to get one. So then the guy comes out at probably 10 minutes later. Is like, oh, we got 7 guys. Sorry. So I was like, 7 for this, for the entire store. So I was like, oh, that's great. So I go to work, and at about, I think it was at 10:30 or something, I finished my meeting, and I was like,
you guys, it's 10:30. As much as I would love and sit here and chat, I have a really important thing I've got to go do, and I've got another meeting at 11. So I like left work and ran to the mall into the EB Games, and for some reason in the mall there's 3 dark pits hanging on the hook. And I had been texting my brother during my meeting and was like, dude, did you get me one? What's the deal? Like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And he's like, dude, I was literally number 12 and they got 12 at EB Games where I was. So whatever, I didn't get one for you. So I run into the one at the mall and there's 3 hanging on the hook. And I asked the guy, so what's the deal? How many did you guys get? He said, we got 4. And there were 3 hanging there. I was like, oh, right on. So I like pay for it and off I go. So it was really weird. It seemed like the distribution up in Kelly's was really all over the place where there wasn't a lot to go around because it wasn't just I didn't get any. So
Yeah.
it was weird. Really weird.
So when we talk about
But I did get it. So and
Yep.
it's a really good looking figure and Palatina, man. Oh, am I losing you guys?
Yeah, you're getting really crunchy.
No.
You're a
Little bit.
crunchy.
Justin, are you backing up your
No, I'm
time
not that
capsule?
one. Nope, not me. Not me.
Okay, anyway, what were you saying?
So speaking of other kind of amiibo stuff, we also have the announcement of the 3-pack Mii Fighters that are coming in November as a 3-pack as well.
Yeah, that is a weird one, right? That like, I don't know. That's a weird one. Do you feel like that's one that you want to get, Justin, or is anybody here super excited about the Mii Fighters?
Cass?
Nope. Not at all.
I was interested in like getting like maybe one of them, like the Blaster. I think that's kind of a cool look to them. But I'm like, I'm not spending $45, or 50. To get these 3 that I'm like, I don't really care that much about them.
Well, and I mean, we actually forgot to talk about this, but we kind of got into, or we just finished off talking to Victor Lucas, in our interview, which you guys will hear right after the news, by the way. So stay tuned. But he kind of talked about this idea of premium amiibos or something like that, or Disney Infinity or whatever. But I think it would actually have been maybe a smarter move if they would have had the 3 of them maybe posted, or maybe a slightly bigger amiibo or something, but have the 3 Mii Fighters all on one amiibo instead. You know what I mean? Or something like that. It wouldn't have been true to the game and kind of out of the spirit of it. But I don't know if we need 3 Mii Fighters in a pack. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll see. That's not coming till November now. So
What else we got in the news there?
Well, before we go
also-
on, the thing I wanted to say, I know many people who wanted to actually get 3 copies of Mr. Game & Watch just so they can have each of the poses simultaneously.
Oh yeah, you can't do that now.
Simultaneously. So if someone's wanting to do that, you're going to get 4 extra amiibos that you're not going to want, and now you have to pay $120.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, Jesse. That's a good point. For sure. Cool. Also in the news, Triforce Heroes has been confirmed for October 23rd.
What?
Which is really exciting. And so now we kind of took that and are looking at the release lineup from now until sort of the end of, into the future. And this is kind of what we've come up with for the release lineup between now and then. So we now have in August, on the 21st of this month, we have Little Battlers Experience, which is that little robot game for 3DS. Then September 11th, we have Mario Maker, and Amiibo Wave 6A is kind of what people are calling it, or whatever. And then 2 weeks later, we have Happy House Arrest, the Amiibo cards, and Retro 3-pack for the Amiibo.
I chuckle
so that's
every time you
September.
say that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, here's the deal: is that from all accounts, that game's actually seeming pretty decent so far.
Yeah, I
excited
was
for it.
hearing some feed from a friend of the show, Rogers Base, and Josh from the BitBlock, and they were all saying it's not as bad as they thought it would be when the initial reaction from E3 came out. So,
Apparently,
Yeah,
it's already sold 500,000 units in Japan, and someone made mention of that on Twitter, and then I think I forget who else replied. Maybe I think one of the NWR guys said, and that's exactly why it's not on the Wii U.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I'm pretty excited about it actually. It should be pretty good. October then we have, so I believe that would be 2 weeks. So basically what they're doing is spacing these out every 1 to 2 weeks. We're going to have a new release from Nintendo between now and the end of October. So September 11th, Super Mario Maker Amiibo Wave 6A. 2 weeks later, we have Animal Crossing with the cards and the Retro 3-pack. 2 weeks after that, we have Chibi Robo Ziplash. Yeah. Yoshi's Woolly World comes the week after that with the Yarn Amiibo. The week after that is Zelda Triforce Heroes. So we are in for a pretty good fall between now and the end of October. And then after that we have, and then basically on Nintendo's release schedule so far, we have in autumn we have the new Fatal Frame game, and then before the end of the year we also have Xenoblade Chronicles X, Yokai Watch, and Star Fox Zero currently listed. So
hey Cass, of that lineup, is there anything that you're excited about, or maybe excited about not only maybe picking up for yourself, or maybe something that you can play together with with the kid, or try and get them introduced to stuff?
Man, if Super Mario Maker, if that's the last game I can play, I would be fine. That is just, I've never been more happy for a game. It's my most anticipated game. And my daughter, that's actually, she loves my Mario amiibo, and when she hears the Mario theme song, she will say Mar. So, maybe that'll help her get into it more. I can make her like a really easy level where she can get through it easy. But no, almost all of those I want. But man, Super Mario Maker, I can talk the whole show about that. That's just, that game looks amazing to me. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what they do for their extra modes that they've kind of hinted on.
Well, I'm just really excited for those, and I mean, with my amiibo collection currently, I think I have over 30 amiibo now. Might actually be true.
So for those of you that are doing the quick math in the Canadian exchange, that's $450.
No, that's not important. What's it? I don't even need to know that number. But
I heard last week that you're able to unlock the use of the amiibo figures with all 99 of them without having to own a single amiibo. So that was cool.
That's correct. Yeah, that is true. Although even just knowing that I'll be able to scan an amiibo, and then because there's so many of those, right? There are so many different 8-bit characters but just knowing that I'll be able to scan them right away and plop them into the game is going to be really cool. I'm really excited for this for my son, just because he's getting into that sort of stage where he really likes to make things. Like he really loves Lego and just building his own stuff, and so I'm really excited to just kind of put this in his hands and say, here you go, boy, make me a Mario level, and just sort of watch him make something cool.
I do kind of wish the amiibo characters would be more than just in the Mario 1 stage, but I understand now that it's 99 of them. That's a lot of models to create.
Well, and that was my initial reaction when they had announced the 8-bit Mario or the 8-bit amiibo characters. I was like, oh, what? They only work in the original game? Like what's the deal with that? I want to be able to play them in all of the modes, but now with 99 of them, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can see why they didn't want to create the 3D model of Tom Nook to play in this game. So it makes sense.
How are we gonna? Does anybody know how we're gonna unlock them if you don't have the amiibo? Like, what's the way?
I don't think they've announced how yet. Just that we can.
They haven't formally announced, though. I believe there's a mode called 100 Mario Challenge or something like that. And basically, my suspicion is that there will be some sort of a challenge mode that you need to defeat, and then once you've defeated them, then it unlocks this sort of some sort of. So.
In the most recent Nintendo Voice Chat podcast from IGN, Per Schneider, Brian, and Jose sat down and they spent some time. They talked about some of the parts of building games and just what their thoughts on it was, and they actually challenged each other. I think they even have some video up it as well. Per did mention that he actually gave it E3, the game of the year for E3, and there's so much energy and excitement around it. But I think it's going to be interesting, and they made the comment of it as well, and I agree. It's going to be interesting when, we made the laugh last week of like, here's the Facebook level, right? But can you imagine if they can bring in some like guest developers to make their own levels, right? So
it'll be super cool, and I guarantee you they'll
here's
do
the
that.
guy from Kojima.
Will it be DLC?
No, because that would it's all DLC because it goes to server, right?
Well,
I think it'll be similar. I think it'll.
For?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be paid for at all.
I bet you basically what it'll be is similar to how they've been rolling out the Splatoon weapons, where it's like every week or maybe even twice a week they say, oh, now except it won't be on disc like it is with Splatoon, sort of pushed via Spot Pass or whatever they're called. I think it's still Spot Pass on the Wii U, but basically they just push that content to your system, and as a sort of like free DLC sort of thing, I would think.
Yeah, Cass, I would be really shocked if this is paid for DLC, because the model that they're doing here, really think about the game, is open content creation. And I think if they put that behind a paywall, such as something like a DLC
they would get
package,
so much backlash.
They get destroyed for it.
They could easily add a
I'm
new
just
page.
thinking if they do. Oh, sorry.
They could easily add a new page in their download section of just featured, and they could have the top Nintendo created ones, the top user created ones, and just rotate them every week or so many days or whatever.
What were you going to say, Cass?
I was going to say, like, if they did, like, this is a Miyamoto stage that he just made, maybe they could think people are going to, I would pay for it. I don't want to. But if they said, this is a really cool Miyamoto stage, look at the ideas he did, but you got to pay $1 for it or, $2. I would probably buy. I hope but I'm saying that, but I hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
But they could. They could.
If they do, I hope they don't go more than $1 on those premium stages. But I agree with Justin.
I highly doubt that.
I doubt they will.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was just bringing it up. I doubt they will too.
It's a good conversation though.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
What else do we got here?
Right on. Yeah, finally we've got now let's talk a little minute here, Jesse, about Mighty Number 9. It seems to me like the people. What is the company that is behind Mighty Number 9?
Concept?
Because they are up to some serious shenanigans lately. It seems like.
I'm kind of getting disheartened with them amongst, in addition to other friends of mine on Twitter and Facebook. Apparently they've had, they've had multiple additional Kickstarters going on, and they're.
Now, the company behind this is Concept USA, correct? Yeah. Concept is
not sure
now
necessarily
Concept is
USA, but Concept, yes.
Well, on the Kickstarter project is Concept USA, so okay. which is probably just a division of Concept or whatever. But Concept isn't even a development studio, right? They're like a front. Now, what I'm trying to remember exactly what podcast it was that I recently heard about this, but so basically what happened was Concept recently had another Kickstarter called Red Ash, which was, what was it, like a sort of spiritual successor to, or a spiritual reimagining of Mega Man Legends? Is that right, Jesse?
I actually don't know. I didn't look into this one very deep.
Okay, but basically what happened was Red Ash, they announced like a game, they announced an anime based on the same game, the same thing, and so essentially what happened was when the Kickstarter ultimately failed, or a little bit before the Kickstarter failed, they basically said, oh, just kidding, we also have a publishing partner anyway, so whether or not the Kickstarter fails or not, this game is going to come out. We have other funding lined up as well. So basically, they were just going to the community and saying, "Give us your money, but we don't really need it." They were just
hoping for glorified pre-orders.
Exactly. Yeah. So and just getting a bunch of money to help fund this project for Red Ash. This is also the same company that also was responsible for Mighty Number 9's Kickstarter way back in the day. Since then, they've had additional Kickstarters and other sort of funding coming in as well. Since Red Ash has finally finished their Kickstarter, very quickly after that, I said, "Oh, by the way, Kickstarter or by the way, everybody, Mighty number 9 is now delayed to 2016. Based so before Red Ash is finished, just in case we're gonna donate all their donation.
What are your thoughts? Both of you backers, right? Justin, were you a backer?
I was not.
You guys? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You were not a backer, but Jesse, you were a backer.
Yes, and for the last 30 seconds, I couldn't understand a word he said. But
Ah, dang it. Okay, so
But,
you're a backer.
yeah, I am a backer, and I signed up to get the Wii U version of the game when they finally release, which it's been delayed now like 4 times. So it was originally supposed to be out earlier this year, and then pushed it to fall along with a retail release, and then now they're pushing it again into next year.
Right, and I mean, it's like so much of the development funding of it is really. It seems like they're not being very forthright in where their funding is coming from, and it seems like they had held on to the funding or the news that it was being delayed until after the Red Ash Kickstarter was over, which is why a lot of people are upset about this as well. So, yeah. Anyway, so we will see when this comes out. Do we have any other information about this, Jesse? Like from you as a Kickstarter backer, do you know of anything else?
Nope, that's
No.
That's pretty much all we got.
For now, just Sad Panda, and that's about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Cass, are you excited for this?
Man, I've heard a little bit about it, but I can't say I'm excited. I don't know too much about it. Just I see things here and there on Twitter, but yeah, I haven't been following it too much.
Right on. Well, hey, cool. Well, let's take a quick break, everybody. I'm going to reset this phone to make sure that we don't have any weird Skype problems anymore. And also, in the meantime, I'm going to play for you an interview that we finished earlier just before recording now with Victor Lucas of EP Daily and Vic's Basement. You can check him out over there. And he's a great Canadian video game journalist who's been in the biz for like 20 years, right, Justin?
Yeah, it's fantastic. We were really fortunate to we started communicating with Victor back in February and looking for times to meet up, and he was gracious enough to spend some time talking to us about Nintendo, his scope and his look at Nintendo, and also he had his daughter Ruby with him, and talking to kind of what it's like to be a parent nowadays in video gaming. And how that kind of world works together and raising kids, and it was just a fantastic interview. And again, I think if you're Canadian, you've probably seen Victor Lucas a million times on the television, especially if you're into video games. I know that Reviews on the Run or EP Daily is actually shown in the U.S. as well, so check it out. And you can go to EPN or EPNTV.com, I believe it is as well, and check out all of the fantastic work there. So it's a great interview from him. So enjoy it after the break.
Right on. We'll see you in a few. All right. How bad am I crunching out, by the way?
It was only that like 30 seconds.
Was it? So do I need to reboot this?
I think you're fine now.
Okay. I'm just going to stretch my legs for a sec. Oh, gosh.
I told you sitting on the floor hurts.
I'm like sitting cross-legged too, like campfire style, which is a bad choice.
Yeah, you made a mistake there.
Jeez.
Cass, how you doing?
I'm good.
Anyone need a
Awesome.
potty break?
I think we're good, sir.
We're good? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm ready to go. Dude, this game is addictive, by the way.
That's Binding of Isaac?
Yeah. It's a little pricey, but for an eShop game, especially in Canada. Okay, I'm good. There we go. Feeling better. I got weird hips, dude.
It's so weird. All right. Well, why don't you guys start? I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Oh.
All right. You guys start without me. It's okay. I just gotta start my Wii U up for something.
Oh.
I'm starting that download now.
Oh dang! You know what? I am not even. You're really gonna use all your bandwidth while we record?
That's a good point. I won't do that now.
Okay. I just wanted to check.
Maybe
You're a monster.
Maybe I should start because I'm not gonna have a problem.
Oh, geez, man. You better be careful or you're going to end up like back in 1967 or whatever. 1985. I don't know. Cool. Okay, we're good to go whenever. So
let's do it.
I'm just going to hit the bumper and we'll go straight into it.
Okay.
All right. Well, wasn't that awesome? Man, that interview. Super cool, super nice guy to to lend his time, and I enjoy your viewing. I hope they enjoyed their viewing of the Zelda thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully Ruby enjoyed that the Zelda show.
She's hilarious, by
Absolutely.
the way. She's so funny.
And EPN.TV is where you can check out their stuff. EPN.TV.
And Cass has no idea what the heck we're talking about right now. You'll have to go back and listen to the interview. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so let's head into what we've been playing this week, everybody. Cass, why don't you go first this week, man? What have you been playing this week?
Man, I've been playing, I'm kind of late on it, but the Wind Waker HD, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. Oh, I dropped my water. And I'm loving it. I never played Wind Waker on GameCube or anything else. I don't know why, but I just never got around to it. And I'm thinking it's my favorite Zelda game. It's a lot of the other ones. Oh, it's so good. I feel like on all the other ones, I've had to use a lot of guides. And I hate to admit it, but I have to use a guide on it. I'll get stuck and I just don't know what to do. For some reason, in Wind Waker, it's got right amount for me. I get stuck, but I'm able to figure it out on my own. And it's just, what's that?
Yeah, we're getting.
Oh, you were just roboting a little bit. Am I the only one?
I hear it too.
Okay.
Oh, am I
yeah,
good?
you're just getting a little roboty. That's all.
Oh, that's not good. And
anyway,
yeah. Just the right kind of difficulty for me. I'm able to, I don't know, it's just, I'm loving it. Other than, it's that and like Link's Awakening. I think they're my two favorite Zelda games. So, yeah, I've been playing.
I like your style. I agree. Those are two of some of the best. Those Game Boy ones, man, are some of the least appreciated, I feel like, just because, especially those early handheld Zelda games, right? Anyway, but yeah, Wind Waker is so good. I kind of, every once in a while, I just get the itch to play it some more. And I beat it all the way through twice, once on the GameCube, once on the Wii U. So good.
I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
Loving it.
Right on. You playing anything else?
Yeah. Another one I'm late on is I'm playing Shovel Knight on my 3DS. And the weird thing about that is I'm such a retro gamer. I love platformers. I love 2D platformers. I play my regular Nintendo like every day, and so the fact that I waited this long to play Shovel Knight, I couldn't tell you why. I've wanted to play it. I've seen it in the eShop, and I just always pass it up. And I ran. And I needed a new game, and I was like, I'm gonna finally start. I've heard great things about it. I don't know why I've waited this long, but I finally started it, and everything that would be. I love it so much. I'm not that far into it, but man, it's amazing.
The 3D effect in that game too, but is just like I know a lot of people played it on the Wii U or whatever, but playing it on the 3DS, it just feels so right on the 3DS because the 3D effect on it just looks so good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
with the parallax sort of and the different planes that they use with the 3D effect on the two, or on the that sort of 8-bit graphic style just adds so much to it that you wouldn't necessarily expect to think, oh yeah, well it's just different depths, but it really adds a lot. I find so.
And kind of in relation to Shovel Knight, some breaking news actually today from Yacht Club Games that the development of the Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows is actually now complete. The DLC is now completed.
Yes.
They're just confirming what day they're going to release it on now. So I would say
when did this happen, man?
It was 19 hours ago. They announced it.
How did I miss this?
I don't know, but it's on our Twitter feed, so you can follow us on @NintendoDads. We did retweet it, but that's cool.
Hey man, you're the social media guy. I'm the sound guy.
Apparently. But what they had, everyone of course asked when is it going to be released. They said that now they've completed the game. They're just looking to pin down a release date for it. So hopefully we should hear very soon from them.
And I'm
so excited. Hey man, you're the guy. You're the. I don't even know. I'm gonna dig myself a hole if I go any more than that. That's yeah, dude, that's so exciting for me. I'm super excited to see this. And I mean, Plague Knight is the coolest. He's like the weirdest.
It should be so exciting for Cass because he'll probably be finishing it right around the time that it's gonna be dropping.
Yeah, I'll just be able to keep going.
So you're playing that with 3DS, eh?
Yeah. I decided to get on my 3DS. I just, I haven't been playing my 3DS, so I wanted to get a new game on that. So I went with 3DS. I keep kind of wishing though I got it on the Wii U to have it on the big screen, but when it comes out as retail, I think I'm gonna buy it on my Wii U.
Yeah.
It's coming out in October. I don't know what date, but October or something.
Yeah. It's a great game, an example of a game that I wish was cross-buy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
Oh, I know.
Because I'm much like you. Like I bought it on my Wii U, and then a couple months later I got a 3DS. I'm like, man, this would have been a great game to play on your 3DS, right from that experience. And I have a friend who is doing exactly like you are, and he's playing on his 3DS, and he's just saying how much he loves it that way. And I'm like, man, I know it's just a little bit of a different experience sometimes.
I kind of honestly, I love it so much on the 3DS that depending on what sort of physical retail packaging they have for it, I would honestly buy it again on the 3DS before I'd buy it on the Wii U. But that's more my own personal bias for handhelds versus console. So anyway, speaking of cross-buy though, Justin, I know looking in the dock here, you've been playing Zeo Drifter.
I have been, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You do know that this game is cross-buy, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you buy it on the 3DS, you get it on the Wii U for free.
Yeah, and they actually just allowed that, or kind of made that announcement or that allowance of it last week. Actually, team from Renegade Kids. I'd bought it on the 3DS. I think back in like April when it was on sale for 50% off. So I think I got it for like less than $5. And it's a tremendous game. If you are a fan of Metroid, I think this is the best Metroid game that Nintendo had ever made.
Wow, high praise, man.
To be completely honest, it more than anything, and again, it's that Nintendo has never made, but it's a game that makes me crave more and more. Like I really wish they just would bring back a good Metroid. It sucks me in. The levels are challenging. It makes you kind of go back and find the certain weapons that you need, the certain skills. You go back to a different level and a little bit further in advance. Just really, really fantastic game. I would highly recommend it. And as I mentioned before, it is cross-buy. So if you pick it up, you can get a copy of it on the Wii U as well. So well worth it. Do it.
Right on, man. Yeah, I actually downloaded it on my Wii U. I got quite a ways into it on the 3DS, and then I just kind of never went back to it for some reason. But I started playing. I think I played like up until the first boss on the Wii U, and it looks really good on the Wii U too. Like it's something about like playing that sort of style. I don't know if you necessarily call it 8-bit. Like it kind of has that look, but it also is a lot snappier. So I don't really feel right about calling it an 8-bit game. I don't know, maybe that's just more me, but it definitely is. It looks great on the big screen for sure. So, yeah. How about you, Jesse? What have you been playing?
I have trying to think. Yesterday, I started playing the new King's Quest game on PS4.
I caught you streaming that. I saw you were streaming or something on Twitch, and I jumped over there for a minute.
Yeah, it actually released last week, but I was out of town last week, so I didn't get a chance to play it until yesterday. and I am digging that all over the place. It's just it brings back a whole bunch of nostalgia. Even the music, there's some callbacks in the music that reminds me of that came out of the older games. I even saw a piece of tapestry that came right out of King's Quest VI. So if you're familiar with the old games, this will just suck you right in. And the humor, I think, is the best part. There's so many puns. And I've told some of my favorite jokes from the game to my kids, and they've all groaned.
Oh, perfect! The best kind.
I know. So
that's my favorite. The dad jokes, man.
Yeah, so far I've recorded the first I have 2.5 hours of footage from when I streamed last night. I plan on I want to record the entire chapter, and this is chapter 1 of a 5-part episodic game. And what I want to do is just make a joke and pun montage and just throw that on YouTube.
Amazing.
So I can't wait to dig into that little project. So the funniest joke that so far, and I thought it was hilarious. Everyone else groaned. This is, if you're familiar with the game, the first King's Quest game you're a knight, and then by the end of the game you become the king, and every other King's Quest game you are the king. So the premise of this game is you are an elderly King Graham reminiscing and telling stories to your granddaughter. So while he's telling the stories, you are now in control of young Graham, and then so when you're doing dialogues, you're...
Oh gosh!
Wow!
So, that's what I get for looking at stuff. Sorry.
So
anyway, thanks for Nintendo for an autoplay video on their website.
You're playing the game as young Graham, and then every once in a while, the older Graham and the granddaughter will kind of have a little dialogue, conversation back and forth on top of what you're playing, kind of like interrupting the story, like little kids would do if an old, telling an old story. So in the part I was playing, this is before he even became a knight. So someone asked him, "Why do you want to become a knight?" And he goes, "Well, see, my father was a knight, my grandfather was a knight, his father was, a dentist, but his father was also a knight. So you could say that my family has a history of protecting crowns."
Oh, that's terrible.
I love that joke. I'm like, why?
I love it.
My first thought was, dumb. What's with the dentist? But there is the punchline. So...
Oh, man.
And there's another...
I feel like I need to have I feel like I need to have a game over sound. What do I have? I don't know. Oh, hey, here. How about this one?
Please understand.
Oh. There we go.
Okay, and then there was, I don't know the exact details off the top of my head, but there was another scene where I cut down a tree with a hatchet, and then the older Graham in voiceover, within 30 seconds, just rattles off 5 or 6 different tree puns.
I'm losing a good time.
Until the granddaughter says, "Grandpa, stop it." You losing me?
Sorry, I'm losing you again. Oh no. I'm losing you big time.
Yeah, you're really crunchy.
Can you hear me now?
Nope. You back?
Oh, can you hear me now?
A little bit
back. Come on, Skype. What the hell? Hello?
Hi. The fun of live for shows.
Just talk for a second so I know you.
What was that?
Sure.
Right, Justin sounds fine. I guess it's just Zach.
So, what else have you been playing there, Jesse?
Hello.
Hey, Cass, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks for asking. Welcome to the technical difficulties that is Skype sometimes.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, just chilling.
And lately, often.
Just chilling. So, Cass, what do you do kind of during your day?
that Super Mario Maker, man.
Yeah, we lost Zach.
Anyone still there?
I work at EA, actually.
You work at EA?
So I play games all day. Then
All right, now I can see his video, and I can see his mouth talking, but I can't
Really?
hear anything.
That's pretty cool.
I don't think they can hear me either. And we're gone.
Oh, I'm just. Are we still on? I just got a message.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check here. I'm gonna.
We got a drop and then came back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jesse's back.
Yeah.
Still waiting on Zach. Okay, you call me. Okay, I'll add Zach. Calm down, Zach. We're adding you. Come on, Zach. Jesse there?
I'm still here.
Cassie there?
I'm here.
Okay. Come on, Zach. Sorry, so what do you do at EA, Cass?
I'm in quality assurance, so I'm just a game tester. I test games and write bug reports for the developers.
Cool. So, like, what games have you been testing, or can you tell us?
I'm not really. I could say I've been testing Madden.
Okay.
That's about to come out, Madden 16, but can't really say anything else.
That's fair enough.
that's about all I could say.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
My son, when he was like maybe 12 or so, said that that's what he wanted to do when he was older, is to become a game tester. And I told him, not every game they're going to throw at you will be a Call of Duty, right? Your first game is probably going to be Barbie's Horse Adventure.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, hallelujah.
Are you back?
Quick, nobody sneeze.
Not you.
Okay, we're back. So where were we? I think that's King's Quest. Play it now, everybody. Anything else you've been playing this week, Jesse?
That's pretty much all I've had the time to do. I haven't had much. Anyway, as I was exiting out the game last night, I did see a glimpse of my percentage, and I said I'm 50% in, which is kind of impressive for Chapter 1. Normally, Chapter 1 is the shortest chapter in those episodic games. So if Chapter 1 is 5 hours and still the shortest, this is going to be, we're going to get our money's worth. I think this was $40 for the 5 chapters. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But I'm liking it so far.
Right on, dude. Well, I'm just going to quickly go through a couple of things. First of all, I got a chance to play the Smash Brothers update. There's honestly not a whole lot to talk about there, other than there's a couple of new levels that are pretty great. I did get a chance to play the tourney mode very briefly, and it's actually kind of cool the way that they've got it set up. So you can set up your own. You can either have the tourney, which is kind of like there are a few different options, like you can win by number of wins or by points or stuff like that, and you can set the time frame. So absolutely follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and we're going to probably, I would say either late this week or early next week, I'm going to set up a Smash Brothers tournament that everybody, listeners can sign up for and join throughout this month. So you can definitely follow us there and get the details. But there's also a really cool mode where you can, in sort of the classic tournament style with the branching, with the classic sort of tree, with the matchups and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Brackets?
With the matchups. The brackets, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. So basically, there are enough people online at any given time that you just go and it'll have a list of specific tournaments that are going on right now. And so I selected it, and it just says, okay, this one is starting in 2 minutes. And so you sit there and wait, and then all of a sudden it'll show the huge bracket of everything, and it throws you into a game, and it basically runs through the entire tournament in just like maybe a half an hour or something like that, which is really fun and really great, unless you lose the first one, or like only the first, like the winner of each bracket will go on to the next game. And so if you win the bracket, then that's awesome, then I'm going to the next game. But if not, then you're just kind of sitting there watching these brackets, and or if the other games haven't finished yet, then you'll just sit there at this bracket screen waiting for somebody. You're waiting for the other matches to finish, and so you'll just see the icons of each character, like the little head, just kind of smashing into each other until all of the matches are done. But it's kind of cool. Like, it's a neat little thing, and if you lose, then you just kind of quit out, whatever, you're done, right? But it's a neat little feature. But overall, it's a pretty, again, kind of like we talked about last week, the additional stages don't add that much more. They are kind of a nice nostalgia, especially the Zelda level there. And they have a lot of really cool old retro music tracks for those stages that add to your music library. So that's pretty fun too. But so that's the Smash Brothers update. Stay tuned to Facebook and Twitter, and I'll kind of show those or launch those up once I get back to my house again this weekend in Edmonton, and we'll figure all that stuff out. Additionally, on the 3DS, I picked up The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which, for those of you who don't know what this game is, the way I can kind of explain the gameplay, and the sort of story behind it is something else entirely. It's basically like, this game, actually, they had a little bit of trouble getting this game onto, like, getting Nintendo to approve them at one point because of the concerns for content. And I think it definitely, like, does it have a mature rating? I'm almost positive it does. With the amount of blood that's in this game, I'm sure it's mature.
I would imagine. I can verify.
I would imagine so. And not only just for the blood, but there's even, like, cartoon little boy wiener in this game.
Poop monsters.
And which, sorry? And oh yeah, poop monsters. There's poop everywhere.
Monsters.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of poop that's in this game. It's kind of ridiculous, but
it looks like it's probably rated M, because even on the Nintendo site, there's an age wall. There's an age wall before you even get information on the game.
Yeah, I assume it's probably for excessive blood, and poop, and it does show
rated
little
M,
boy wiener.
Rated M for violence, blood, crude humor, and use of drugs.
Why
it doesn't
does it
have
show,
anything.
Why does it?
It doesn't
show
have any
boy?
sexuality or nudity or anything like that.
It doesn't say nudity.
Wow, because it, like, okay, so just like as far as it, like, I don't want to oversell the nudity in this game, because it's clearly like the cartoon style of it is one thing where it's literally just like this little boy, Jesse, in the
it looks
the
like
little
it's drawn by a
cutscenes.
5-year-old, so it's.
Oh yeah, it's like his body is literally a square, and when he gets pantsed, it's literally like, a tiny little line that's drawn halfway down, or halfway across the bottom of his torso. That's literally all it is.
Okay.
Which is probably why the ESRB didn't even catch on to it. But anyways, but as far as the gameplay goes, it's a roguelike. So in other words, you're just playing through randomly generated dungeons, and the gameplay is kind of a combination between like traditional Zelda dungeons, and very sort of like, here's your screen, and the top screen, by the way, on the 3DS there's no 3D, which you know how I feel about that. I'm kind of annoyed. It doesn't I've seen the thing that the fact that it's a port, I'm a little bit more lenient on it for that. Although, like, Citizens of Earth, I kind of feel like that there's something about the art style in The Binding of Isaac that makes me feel like it's probably okay. And I'm kind of softening my stance on the no 3D on the 3DS. But anyway, that aside, the gameplay is kind of like a mix between the traditional Zelda dungeon crawler sort of you never, every once in a while you'll have a level that is bigger than the top screen, where you kind of, will get a larger area that you walk around in. But then the controls is kind of like a dual stick shooter, almost like what am I thinking of here? I just totally lost the name of it. Anyway, like a dual stick shooter, you know what I mean, like the spaceship sort of deal, where the left screen you're controlling him around the stage, and then the right stick, either with the C stick or the 4 face buttons on the the whatever buttons there are, would be like up, down, left, and right shooting. And so it's actually a really great game for the 3DS in particular, because
those controls are similar on the PS4 if you'd rather use the D-pad and face buttons instead of the 2 joysticks, but they both work.
They do. So if you play it on like the PS4, does it actually have diagonal shooting, or is it still strictly up, down, left, right? Because that's how it is on the 3DS.
It's only the cardinal directions.
Yeah. So I mean, but the great thing about this game, and I so far am loving this game. It's great because you start out and you basically, it's all up to what kind of power-ups do you get. And the number of power-ups in this game, I don't think I have gotten the same power-up more than a couple of times. And the way that the power-ups that you get in each level, so like it starts you out in the basement 1, and then basement 2, and then caves 1, and then caves 2, and stuff like that. And on each level you can get 1 or 2 power-ups, and whether that's increasing the range of your shots, which, by the way, you shoot tears, right? So like it shows him and he's crying or whatever, and your projectile is tears from Isaac because his mother has rejected him, and you're trying to kill because she's trying to kill you, you're trying to kill her, or something like that. It's kind of this weird sort of there's a lot of sort of judgment about fundamentalist religion and stuff like that, where this woman is trying to kill you because God has told her that she needs to kill you or something, which is kind of, know that going in, I think it's just kind of a sort of satire thing as it is there. But the gameplay behind it, though, is so much fun and is so interesting. And I really don't I'm not put off by the art style or the themes or whatever. Like, it's clearly, if it's got something to say, then I think it's behind, it's on top of really actually pretty solid game mechanics and all sorts of stuff like that. So I really am enjoying it. I really like, every once in a while you will see a door that has like teeth on it, or there will be like this weird sort of door frame that has like demons and stuff like that. And so you can there's this risk reward sort of strategy that's going on as well, where you can make a deal with the devil and get a really and like destroy one of your 3 hearts, just like Zelda, you start with 3 hearts. And you can destroy one of your hearts and then get a really powerful power up early in the game as a result of that. But and so there's a lot of sort of risk reward stuff going on there with the power ups as well. It's pretty deep and really, really fun. I really enjoy it. So definitely not for the kids, but also, I really am having a lot of fun with it. So
probably should mention that this game is only available on the new 3DS XL. Or the new,
yeah, that's right.
Or new 3DS if you're in other regions, but the original 3DS that doesn't have the new around it is not available.
Which is weird to me. I mean, I guess
I think it has to do with I think it has to do with the Unity engine. They just couldn't get it to work on the older systems.
It's the engine that it works on,
and it needed the power boost of the new system.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's available on Wii U as well, so. I think it's in the States it's $15, in Canada it's $20 on either system. So I really am enjoying it. I'm going to play it some more, and there's a lot of unlockables and stuff to play and challenges and stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out if it's your deal.
I still remember when this game was announced, they put out probably the best press release I've ever seen. It looked like, and they released it on.
And it was on April Fool's Day.
They released it on April 1st, so a lot of people thought it was a fake. And I'm like, I'm reading through this. I'm like, it seems legit. So I talk about it on Twitter, and Neil Ronahan calls me out saying, "You better check your sources." I'm like, "No, this seems legit, dude."
Yeah, right on.
It was.
Hey, yeah, that's funny. Okay, Justin, I feel like we have a Nintendo question of the week. coming. Am I right with that?
We do, and I think we have our music cue for that as well, do we not? Awesome. All right, thank you. We're back. We're back to the Nintendo question of the week. Gentlemen, question for you. Now, I'm going to be honest, I borrowed a little bit of this from the team at Reactor Radio. But question for you. You're stuck on a desert island. You have one video game console, only one console, but 3 games. What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
I think...
Does this desert island have enough sufficient power to...
The desert island has enough sufficient power, and it has internet connection. So you can, if it's an online game, you can play an online game.
Ooh, that changes things a bit. But you only get 3 games.
Only 3 games and only one console.
Easy question.
Oh,
All
Cass
right,
has got
go
an
for it,
answer
man.
already. Cass, what do you got?
Very easy. It's the easiest question. It's a Wii U and Super Mario Maker. And that's all I don't even need the other
You
game.
don't even need the other 2.
Just
Because
need
he
Wii
can
U
make
and
his
Super
own
Mario.
games after that. Well,
That's
played,
awesome.
sir.
I have my answer.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to say the Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
Nice.
And they have Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 3/6, and Zelda Link Between Worlds. The other one, Link to the Past.
Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Wow, that is I think that's that makes sense.
I win.
I'm gonna I don't know how I can follow that. I feel like I want to go with the Game Boy Advance SP, specifically the clamshell, right?
Good call.
I'm gonna go
because
with
anything else is just not a GBA.
Yeah, and then I feel like of all the Nintendo systems I've ever owned, that was like I felt like it was just perfect, right? Like it just made sense. Everything was just amazing. So I want to, and not only that, actually, so not only that, but it's also backwards compatible with the Game Boy, which I feel is probably cheating in the spirit of the question, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
Seems to be legit to me. But didn't say anything about not exploiting backwards compatibility.
Yeah, so I feel like in that particular situation, I've got to go with. Oh, dang it! Now I suck at this question. This has stumped me way more than it probably should have. I want to go with one of the Pokemon games. I want to say the pinnacle of the Pokemon games for me, as far as going bang for your buck, I'm going to say Pokemon Crystal, which was for Game Boy Color. It basically was 2 Pokemon games in one. It was the third of the 3 of the second gen or whatever. So I want to go with that one. I want to go with the what was it? What was the one? Anyways, it was the remake or whatever for GBA of Super Mario Brothers 3, and I don't know, some other one. I suck at this question. Justin, what about you?
I'm going to throw back even more old school. I'm going to go old school NES, and I'm going to play Super Mario 3. I'm going to call DuckTales. Woo woo. And I am going to pull in the original Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
Very cool.
I'm going to
Very
keep
nice.
it classy.
Very nice.
But I do think, though, for answer that won them all is definitely Cass.
Yep.
I like how he was like, I don't even need the other 2. Just give me
One answer to rule them all, and one to bind them.
I
Hey,
had a
speaking-
whole nother answer ready. And
All
then
right, let's hear it.
I came. Oh, it was a Nintendo 64 with Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and what? 007, just to kind of switch things
Right.
up.
Well, the problem with the 007 one is I didn't say you had friends on the island with you.
Oh, you've only got to play the single-player campaign.
By myself.
only.
Oh
Four-
yeah. I'm back with
That's
the Wii
funny.
U and Mario Maker.
Exactly with you and Mario Maker.
Right on. Well, hey, can you guys hear that in the distance? It's
hear
the
it.
postman. Oh, hang on. Right on. So what's our first email here this week?
Well, I would say this. So we got today. We got an influx of emails. I think we got
Holy Moses, we got
today.
some email.
So we're going to address 2 of them today, and then we're going to move the other ones over onto next week's show as well. But again, guys, thanks for your participation. We just don't want this to be a 5-hour episode for you. Plus, we've got Vic's interview as well. So yeah, we don't want these long episodes. So we are going to address some of them next week as well. So thanks for those that are not addressed currently, but we'll get them next week. So Holden Moffat writes in, hello again, Nintendo Dads. Following last week's segment about Smash Brothers DLC, if I may, I have a small rant. He says, disclaimer, I'm well aware that you may have already considered the points I'm making. This is merely a biased opinion, not some venomous lash out.
I love that he had to just like put that in. This is not a venomous lash out.
It's not about you. I just want to.
You know what? It sounds to me like you're a little bit defensive there, Holden. But
he's got some actually really good points here. He goes, for the one thing, the Smash DLC rollout is totally reasonable. Now, if we kind of remember, the counterpoint that I had there was I didn't think it was reasonable. So I think Holden's going to tell us why he believes it is. He says, unless it's compared to Mario Kart 8. But that DLC is insane. I feel like I was stealing when I bought it. Touche. It would have been within their rights to charge $25 considering the amount of content. I myself would just pay $5 just to have Link and his bike. Jumping off that last remark, the value of something is clearly relative among different people. So just disputing whether or not the Mii skins or the extra levels in Smash are overpriced seems frivolous.
Frivolous?
I need to get glasses on. Frivolous, and something better left to the console warriors on the forums. I would rather bring up the fact that Smash is very honest about what you're purchasing. It's all optional, and it all can be individually purchased, simply boiling it down to if you want it or not. As opposed to the shady DLCs and season passes of other companies, which are often, at least to my empirical evidence, reused assets lined in with the fat of character skins. I'm sure some examples come to mind. At the end of the day, DLC is a pursuit of profit, and I'm fine with that. The factory doesn't run off of rainbows and the laughter of children. Honesty is nice, though. P.S. I'm enjoying the question of the week segments.
Actually, you know what? This isn't the first time I've heard this feedback. Not feedback from us, but just this point about the Mario Kart 8 DLC. That Mario Kart 8 DLC, I think it was on some other podcast. Basically making the point that DLC probably was underpriced, and as much as
it spoiled us.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a really good point. Is that the Mario Kart 8 DLC probably should have been. You know, if you think about how much content came with the original Mario Kart 8, it came with 8 cups, right? And the DLC for maybe $12 or something like that. Another basically $30 worth of content. Half of the original Mario Kart 8 game was given to us again for a quarter of the cost. It should have probably been $30 or $25, right? And so I think that's a really good, valid point. And as far as the
Hyrule Warriors had a DLC, a paid DLC with a Seasons Pass DLC, which I think was like $25, and I think we got a reasonable amount of content for that amount. You know, I'm not, I didn't use most of it, but at least I don't feel like I got gypped.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too. As far as the pricing of skins and so on, if it's worth it or if it's not worth it, I think that those are totally valid and fair points as well. My only pushback on this entire topic, and I kind of agree. It is probably better left to the whiners on forums and Reddit and whatnot. But I feel like the only point at which Nintendo is kind of not even necessarily being misleading, but maybe missing the point is when they start putting out these bundles. And usually when there are so many little things for people to purchase, there's usually an option to have a bundle at a discounted rate. And, for somebody who says, I want it all, but I don't want to have to pay for all of it, right? Like, there's usually, if you want to pay for all of it, then there's a discount for it. So instead of and that's what's been happening with these DLC packs.
The thing is,
where it's
though,
like
those bundles are not a discount. They're just you sum up the individual pieces.
That's exactly my point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my point. Is that they really, if they are going to put those bundles up there, the only reason they're up there is for convenience. They're not actually a discount, and so I feel like they should have discounted bundles, and they don't.
Like $2 off.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, if you if it's a $35, if it's a $30 bundle, make it $25. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a. It is a nice gesture to the person who is willing to. You get a couple of extra skins for free if you buy the whole thing,
and more incentive for them to pay the entire amount. Versus someone who's like, oh, I was just thinking about buying $10 worth, but I can get $30 worth of stuff for $25. Sure, I'll throw the extra $15 in there.
Yeah, they're just missing the point with the bundles. That's the only thing that really bugs me about them. The more that I think about it, and I think that everything else that I actually agree with most of what Holden said for sure. So,
Cass, what's your stance on DLC?
Well, I mean, for Smash, I haven't really. I don't think I bought any DLC for Smash. I think Nintendo's done like better than a lot of. I don't know. I don't know. I like what Nintendo's done with their DLC, even though I haven't bought any of the Smash. I look at it all the time, and I bought the DLC for Mario Kart, and I guess I don't. Now I think about it, I don't buy that much DLC, so and I don't really play any of the other systems, so. From just somebody who plays mostly Nintendo, it doesn't seem weird. I mean, it doesn't seem out of the question what they're asking on some of it. I would never pay for most of that Super Smash Brothers stuff, but I suck at that game, so that's just me.
Right on.
My Mac just rebooted. I don't know.
Nice. Congratulations.
Good thing I'm not using it to record.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? How are you feeling with this?
I think the point. I actually think there was a couple of points he made there that actually kind of made me rethink about my positioning a little bit on it. And I do tend to agree with the statement that maybe we were spoiled by Mario Kart 8 coming out first, and that kind of setting the tone for DLC and what we believed was acceptable value propositions. And I do agree with this statement of the value is kind of different in all the eye of the beholder, so to say. And I think the argument we made last week was when you're countering that, with stuff like Splatoon, where although the content we're getting is up, their updates are not necessarily, then they're sort of DLCs, but they're content that was already in the disc, but we're just being unlocked it. It's a value. You're comparing that moment against Smash, where they're like, well, we want you to pay $25 for more of an experience, and then here we're like, it's free but more of an experience. And although the information is already on the disc and behind it, it's just the perception of it, the optics of it, that I think creates a bit of this skewed look. But I do 100% agree. I think you are right that we were treated really really well with Mario, and we're kind of being a bit whiny probably about Smash, but it is all about the eye of the beholder for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I think that, like, my last point on this whole thing is that I think that across Nintendo in general, they need to get consistent. They need to find out what their strategy is and have a similar strategy for all of their games moving forward for DLC, because the consumer right now, like us, if a game comes out for Wii U, we have no idea what to expect as far as a DLC rollout. Right? Like, we don't know, is it going to be free DLC? Is it going to be some sweet $12 deal? Is it going to be like, if I want all the DLC for Smash, I'm going to be in, like, I think you're probably right now, if you've bought all the Smash DLC, you're looking at basically paying for the game almost twice by now. So I think they need to get consistent with what they are actually doing and what their rollout plans are, regardless of, in all of their other games moving forward. So, yeah.
I don't even know where I'm at with how much I spend on it, because I did buy the 3DS version for my son and the Wii U version. I don't think I bought any 3DS DLC, but up until this most recent wave, which I haven't touched yet, I did buy everything on Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know how much money I've thrown at it, and I'll
I've bought anytime I've bought the Smash DLC, I've bought it for both systems as well. So I think that might be telling as well.
I don't think he has touched the 3DS game since the Wii U came out. So so there's no point in buying DLC for it.
Yeah. No, I still play the 3DS version quite a bit. So right on. I'm going to read this next email. It says, this is from Alan Haas. It says, I just finished listening to Review Tech USA. Review Tech USA, and I think Rich made a good point. I'm assuming he says good point, not a food point. It says, he pointed out that the NX is probably going to release at the halfway mark of the PS4's and Xbox One's life cycle. If the Wii U is as powerful as the current gen consoles, which there are rumors suggesting it is and rumors suggesting it isn't, what is going to happen to the NX when the PS5 and Xbox 2 come out? I see what you did there with the Xbox 2. If the NX has third-party support...
-5.
Yeah. If the NX has third-party support, it will probably lose that support when developers start focusing on the next-gen consoles, and NX will be in the same boat as the Wii and the Wii U. So, Justin, how are you feeling about that? Does this feel like an issue to you? Like, do you think Nintendo is even for a long time they haven't been worried about the hardware, and we've talked about the hardware specs before on this show. Is this a concern? Is this?
I don't think it's a concern to Nintendo. I think it's a concern to gamers. And I think it's, we've talked about it before that we very much live in a world where if you want your Nintendo games, you go to Nintendo. If you want other things, third parties, you have to have a second console in your house. So I think this is a problem, and I think this is where people are always thinking, Nintendo has got to get back into that fist fight with Sony and Microsoft for the console war. And we know that Nintendo is battling their own, is blazing their own trail by themselves. So I don't think Nintendo's worried about the fact that, we won't be comparable to PS5 or Xbox 2, but rather the experience. But at the same time, they also understand that for their console to sell, to be able to sell consoles, they need to have a larger install base, and a larger install base can be driven by third-party exclusives or third-party support. So I do get Alan's point here that they may be themselves in a catch-22 again. We really won't know anything about the NX until we see the NX, right? So everything's rumor at this point. But I think he makes a valid point of, excuse me, how do you draw that third party to come and support you if you know that it's going to be more effort to try and port over to a machine that's basically on its different engines and work. So I don't know.
I feel like the NX potentially launching as soon as next holiday, 2016, even if it is 2017. Given the life cycle of the Wii U and the Wii, I feel like the NX may be coming in a little bit like where it might tail off, probably closer to the the end of the PS4 and the Xbox One's life cycle, and all three of those may end up kind of tailing out at the same time. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that it's going to be coming in too late at that point, although I think that it may actually provide a little bit of it may have a hard time as coming into existence and launching around the same time that the PS4 and the Xbox One have really gotten to their A game, right? Where if you kind of have that sort of bell curve where it ramps up for the first couple of years as far as like quality of games coming out and number of games coming out, and the PS4 and the Xbox One are going to be like right at the top of that peak and even maybe started coming over that hill, whereas the NX is going to barely be coming out of the gate at that point, and so they're going to have a hard time marketing that to people when they could also just go out and get a PS4 that has a huge back catalog and an Xbox One that has a huge back catalog, and they probably have them on for cheaper now, and so I think they're going to have a hard time marketing that as they start out. But I don't think that necessarily the hardware specs. Nintendo doesn't need to be worried about what happens when the PS4 is out. or when the PS4 is done, what they need to be worrying about is when the NX has started and the PS4 is in its golden years, in the prime of its life cycle. That is where they need to be concerned. So I don't know. That's my take. What about you guys? What do you think? Cass, how are you feeling about that?
Man, that's a hard thing to say. I think and I hope Nintendo is just going to do something so crazy and awesome like they usually do that's going to revolutionize gaming again. I think the Wii U was that, and it's an awesome console, but the way it got introduced was like maybe the worst way you can introduce a console, and just the name itself, the Wii U, is the worst name they could have ever named it, and has a really big, in my opinion, is almost the whole reason why it has
the marketing in general, right? The marketing and how they presented that to
they had marketing
consumers.
Yeah,
exactly, right.
So my point is I have faith in them to come up with a cool concept that'll play really awesome games and can have third-party support, but it's going to come down to just executing the marketing
Skype.
and everything else a little better. Because am I breaking up?
Just a little bit. Yeah, that's okay though.
Okay,
we got it.
Yeah, so hopefully it's going to be more of how they present it, and I guess I have faith that they're going to come out with something awesome again that is going to make Xbox and PlayStation have to copy them like they usually do. I feel like Nintendo's always raising the bar. So hopefully what the NX does is not just everybody wants it to just be like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One with graphics and stuff, but hopefully it has some pretty good graphics, but also does something else pretty cool for us.
Yeah, totally. Right on. Well, any other thoughts, guys, before we get our butts out of here? We're running long tonight. Anything else, Jesse? Any thoughts? Or
I think this will be an interesting generation for Microsoft and Sony, just because like between PS1 and PS2 there was a significant jump in performance. Between PS2 and PS3 there was a significant jump in performance. Between PS3 and PS4, not so significant, and people are already complaining that the specs of PS4 and Xbox One are probably on the low side compared to what we can get on gaming PCs now. So, I have a feeling that this one isn't going to have the big reach that the previous generation had for them, and the PS5 and Xbox -10 is going to come out even sooner than we think. So how that happens, how that deals with NX in the middle of it, I don't know, but it'll be interesting.
And I think we're kind of getting to the point too where I think we kind of said this at the end of the PS3 life cycle, but and maybe we'll be saying it again at the end for multiple console generations to come. But I feel like at some point, does it really matter if you have more horsepower? You know what I mean? Like, does it really matter if the Wii U is as powerful as if the NX is as powerful as the PS4, or does it matter if the PS5 is really as powerful as the high-end PCs? Like, the PC is now accelerating at such an exponential rate where I don't think consoles are ever going to be as good as PCs ever again, just because of how quickly the graphics capability has accelerated lately, especially. So I feel like that's going to become less and less important as time goes on.
I think the most important part is how easy it is to port from one system to another, and the fact that PS4 and Xbox One are basically PCs in a box. That makes the porting between the two pretty easy. It makes
and that's what the
PC
NX needs.
Really easy. And of course, if they switched up with an X and go to an Intel chip, that means no backward compatibility with anything anymore, and people are going to throw a fit over that. I'm like, well, you got to pick one.
Yeah, totally.
You can't have both.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, on that note, I think that is going to be a show. So I'm going to hit this button here, and we're going to get a little music in the background as we... There we go. Right on. So, thank you, everybody, for listening this week. You can, of course, check us out on all of the social medias. And, of course, Cass, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you let everybody know where to find you on the internet? What have you got going on? You're a podcaster, right? You got stuff.
Yeah. I just started a podcast. By the way, thank you for having me on. This was awesome. Dream come true. I'm a fan. I'm going to keep listening. You can find me on Twitter at CassLush, CASLUSH, and I have a podcast called Lonely Nintendo Dad because I'm by myself, and that's on Podomatic.com. It's lonelynintendodad.podomatic.com. There you go.
Right on, man. And thanks again for being on the show. It's been great having you. And anytime you're back in the near future, let us know. We'll figure out the business and the whatnot, and our people will your people. So, right on. Thanks, man.
Awesome. I'd love to be back.
Right on. Also, for everybody else, go over to Nintendo Dads on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us there. You can also follow our individual Twitter handles as well. You can follow them at and you can follow Justin at Masson23, and you can follow Jesse at Laffer2. That's LLAFFER2. And you can find us all there and give us all of your shenanigans and whatever, and challenge me to Hearthstone if you think you can beat me. Bring it on. You can also email us, nintendodads@gmail.com. You can watch us live every Wednesday night, twitch.tv/dads over YouTube. There, call in and leave us a voicemail. That's 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for our music at the beginning and the end of the show. Thanks to Carter Johnson for our amazing artwork. Check out her work at megacarter.tumblr.com. And, of course, if you want to change the world this week, go over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, and leave us a written review even better. Head over to Stitcher, or, of course, check us out on VGTribune.com. For me, for Jesse, for Cass, and for Justin, thank you, everybody, for listening this week, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dad.